Live. So I think, oops, this is us going live for our, well, it's live from J Street with NWA Ballet Theater, but we're not at J Street. We're at the Brick Avenue Lofts where we did our company photo shoots. And I have Jennifer Davis here with me, and she is the principal of the Northwest Arkansas Conservatory of Classical Ballet.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be with you today.
We just thought we would take this time, this will be the last Facebook Live event that we do for 2020, and talk a little bit about the virtual Nutcracker, which launches tomorrow. You can get tickets for the virtual Nutcracker at our website, nwaballettheater.org. Oh, hey, Carmen.
Hello. Hi, Carmen.
Hey, come on in here. Let me just, let me put you in the middle. You come here. Sit there. And I'll be here.
Welcome. Hello. Hello.
I think scooch over just a fraction. There we go.
Do you need
You're
me
good.
to move down?
No, you're good. I think we're all set. Yeah, this is Carmen. You guys know and love Carmen. She's one of our dancers, and one of the stars of the Nutcracker. Yeah, Harlequin doll, Spanish, and a flower. Yes.
Do it all.
Do it all. That's right. I was just giving you guys an update on, you can buy tickets at nwaballettheater.org on the homepage there. You can also go to
NWAballet.com is the conservatory website, and either website will direct you to our stubs.net ticketing site.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, Jennifer. You've done Nutcracker as principal of the school for many years.
Yes.
Last year was a kind of an important landmark year because I think
Yes.
the production values went up,
Right.
and audiences flocked to the theater. I think it was an exciting year, and
Absolutely.
certainly one we didn't see this year coming.
Right.
So in doing the project this year, things must have changed.
Absolutely.
Did that make it harder? Why did you decide to do it? Because so many people have decided to sit this year out, haven't they?
Right. For me, as a conservatory principal, I feel like my prime directive was to have something for our students to, an opportunity for them to perform. You know, in March when schools shut down and we completely pivoted our classes to a virtual platform, it was really heartbreaking because we were not able to do our regular end of year performance, so they missed out on a big performance opportunity then. And, 6 months into COVID, I just knew that the hearts of our kids, like, they really wanted to have that performance opportunity. So I just wanted to do whatever we could to make that performance opportunity happen, even if it had to be different and completely rethought and, in a different way. And not just for our kids, but also for the company as well, because they're a huge featured part of our Nutcracker. And I think that, any opportunity and platform we can give them for performing is well deserved and appreciated.
I do want to talk about the company and get some insights from Carmen, but I before going there, in full disclosure, you have 2 kids in the Nutcracker.
I do.
I had the pleasure of working with them. They're both stellar. But can you kind of share or relate something that they've said about their experience in doing this and how important it has been for them to be on the inside?
Absolutely, yeah. I'll just preface that with the fact that very literally every year when we close out the show, there is devastation the day that we close and strike. I mean, we've had years where they've literally cried themselves to sleep. It is such a part of their DNA. I mean, as early as they could possibly be in the show, they were in the show, and they've been doing it with me in the conservatory as long as they were able to do so at the appropriate age. You know, and I know that it was different for them. You know, it was a different process coming into the theater on one day, doing everything, you know, in a matter of, you know, an hour or so, as opposed to being in the theater for a week and, you know, prepping and blocking and teching and dress rehearsal and having all of that time in the theater and then having all of that adrenaline rush with the live audience.
Yeah.
So I know that there were aspects of the show, a live performance, that they missed, but I also know just they were so happy to, like, my daughter would talk on the weekends, I'm so glad that I get to be at the studio all weekend rehearsing. This is where I want to be. So just even the whole process, even though it was different, they were really so happy to just be dancing and performing, even though it was different.
That's great. Carmen, can I tap your kind of your experience and your insights into how this one was different in terms of process? Where was it similar to past years, and where did it kind of diverge? And
I think the process was really similar in the way the company learns and rehearses things. For us, I've always been used to a quick turnaround for Nutcracker. So it was still a quick turnaround. So that was the same. That felt normal. Most of us have been doing Nutcracker for forever.
Since you were her
Since
kid's
I
age.
was, yeah. So the music is something that's really familiar. So a lot of times learning a new ballet, it's you learn the music in order to interpret and get your steps to it. With Nutcracker, you're like, I can sing you anything in my sleep. Like, it's not learning the music, it's just learning steps. And being that we did it last year, the same version, it was really recall. So your body remembers things, especially for dancers in Nutcracker, it's like autopilot. And so immediately it was, okay, we've got a shorter time period, but we also have just this whole different process. So late evenings with the children, rehearsal and party scene didn't happen. And it was like, for me, and I know for a lot of dancers, I was like, this is nice. Because we have long days and it's already a lot going on. And to have that moment of just like, this is different, this process is different, but it's still going to make something that's really awesome. And then when we were able to rehearse with the kids, to see how excited they were to have like their moment in the room with the professional dancers, it was like, I thought I was tickled because in Spanish, the 3 of the young ladies who danced, 3 out of the 4, are my students. And I know them fairly well now. And they, in rehearsal, when it was all of us, they were like the most quiet. I was like, this is not y'all. I know you well.
It's almost like they brought a sense of respect and kind of and reverence to this process.
Yes.
Something that they train all day, or for many years. They train with you and other teachers, but then to suddenly see you wearing
it's like
a different
the turn
hat
of me as their teacher, and me helping them figure things out, and then me doing what I've helped them do in class, and they see it completely differently. Because when I teach, I don't show them everything as I normally would. So that was always kind of fun to me when we would get with the kids and to see them just like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm still Miss Carmen though, y'all.
But it's a whole nother layer of mentorship. Yeah. How was it for you personally performing? Because you still have to create the magic, even though it's for screen. You still have to come up with this kind of intangible, and yet there's no audience. There's no dialogue of energy. How did you experience that? How did you feel about that?
That was, I think, probably the hardest part, but it also made it easier for me a little bit. I love having a live audience. You feel so much energy from them. You can see them. Like, common misconception is that the dancers cannot see anything. I was like, every Nutcracker, I was like, I can see people, and it's hilarious to me because there's always the person that was like dragged to the ballet and they don't want to go and they're like asleep in the front row, and I'm like, I can see you. But then you also see the kids who are literally on the edge of their seats, like almost falling into the orchestra pit because they just want to be up there so bad.
Yeah.
So that part of it, it was really like, oh man, like that's not there. But the turn to that is because they weren't there, because sometimes when people are staring at you and there's thousands of them staring at you, it's hard to really perform because there's always somebody who's not going to like it. Like, as much as we want to think that everyone loves it, there's someone out there who doesn't.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can see their faces.
Oh, right.
So to have no faces, I could imagine every little, because I remember every small child who has literally like
Yes.
edge of their seats. It was like I could put every single one of them into the audience. So I had an audience of really eager people.
Nice.
And that was really cool. So it's like I could create my own
Yeah.
situation. And then if things didn't go well, because for me, not everything goes well, there was no judgment from the audience of, oh, well, that dancer was just like not good. Because
Yeah.
a lot of times if you have a bad show and they only see one, that's like a...
We worry about that as dancers.
Yes, it's like,
Yeah.
that was not good, but I'm like, but I can do better, but you
Right.
just don't know, and I can't do it again for you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the ephemeral nature. It just you've done it, there it is, and it's gone.
Yep.
And here we've done it on video. We've committed it to video, and there's a certain kind of eternity
Yes.
to it. So we did several takes, sometimes and multiple angles, and tried to cut together the best version that we could. Another thing that was really different this year was, is that we have to change the way we're telling the story. We're trying to keep the entire thing at about an hour. Well, Nutcracker is usually a 2-hour event, right? You go to the theater. There's a sense of occasion. You dress up. Hopefully you buy a brownie at intermission. You actually. But this year it's a different context, and yet we still want to tell the story. So we've cut quite a lot of material, some of the in-between stuff, and our original intent was to use this year's filming with these students and these dancers performing, and maybe cut it into archival footage of last year. And we went into this process thinking, okay, that's the way that we're going to be able to make the story make sense. We didn't have to do that.
Yeah.
You guys, you haven't seen it yet.
This is so weird.
Tomorrow. But we actually were able to thread it in such a way to make the musical cuts and make the narrative cuts where it actually makes sense. There are some elements that I truly miss. I truly miss the battle scene.
Oh,
I
yes.
truly miss a lot of the snow ensemble work, the snow corps. We had to cut those parts out. I even like the storytelling at the beginning of Act 2, where all the characters are on stage and they relive the drama of Act 1. I love that. But in order to keep it at an hour, we got rid of those puzzle pieces as well. But still managed to make a narrative and a musical and a physical version that I think is really compelling to watch. I can't wait till you see it.
I know. It's going to be the weirdest thing because as a dancer, we don't watch Nutcracker.
I don't remember the last time I sat in an audience.
And watched it.
Yeah.
Well, you're always backstage,
Always,
managing managing the production,
Yeah.
some aspect of the production. So we're doing all of this in this age of COVID. We're here with our masks on. What other kind of adjustments had to be made in order for us to safely do this. Because I can just tell you now, as the company, we've been working since August 31st, and all the way up until late November, we hadn't had any COVID scares or anything like that within our organization. So we're really careful about our protocols and how we help each other stay safe. And how did that change what Nutcracker process was this year for you?
Well, it made a big impact on how we approach this production. As you know, the biggest change that had to be made was that we really had to pare down our cast. You know, last year we had a cast of close to 200, and because we had 2 separate casts that performed twice apiece. And this year, you know, David and I sat down early on in the process and we looked at, okay, these are the sections that we really want to include, and these are, you know, these are the number of professionals that we would have in this section, and these are the number of students that we would have in this section, and those numbers are going to be completely dependent on the stage space that we're going to have available to us. Because we don't want to have such a heavy congregation that our distancing is being compromised.
Right.
And especially because these kids and professionals are going to be together in the studio on a daily and weekly basis. And we wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to have an opportunity when not in close contacts with one another in the choreography to be able to distance and space out for COVID guidelines. And then, of course, we're masking in every class and every rehearsal, and even in our performance.
In the performance, so masks became a part of the costumes this year.
Yes.
And a lot of energy and effort went into that. You guys, I've enjoyed talking to you guys so much. I'm just noticing that we're already at the 15-minute mark.
Oh my goodness.
It goes like that.
Yeah.
Because I could talk about this stuff for longer. I really could. But I also recognize the value of everybody's time. I just two follow up things. One is, would you do it again? Would you go through the change and the effort and the energy and all of the challenges that came with this? Was it worth it? Would you do it again?
I mean, it's Nutcracker. It's like blood. It's like life.
Yeah, I
It's
saw you
bread and
nodding your
butter in the
head.
ballet world,
It's
you
the bread and
know,
butter.
it absolutely is.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, aside from that, you know, I hope that we don't have to do it this way again.
Right.
But knowing what we know now and having
Yes.
been through it once, it's always nice to have a template moving forward.
Yeah.
And again, anything we can do to keep our kids performing and working towards something, I think, is really valuable. And I do consider it a success for sure.
Yes, I would too. I just want to say a quick shout out to say thank you to the APT
Yes.
for giving us the time and the space in their theater that really made this possible.
So appreciative.
We have a lot of partners behind the scenes that have helped us bring this to fruition, and I just want to say thank you, and thank you to you guys as partners as well. We wouldn't be making art unless we enjoyed the village that we live in, and it takes a village.
Absolutely.
And I'm really happy to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Buy tickets. If you don't have yours yet, you can still get them. nwaballettheater.org or
nwaballet.com.
there you go. Thanks so much. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.
That's the end.